of the World Wide Web. So it's Cypher Sigma Toys here, and it is another toy collection. Apologies, there's been a gap for this series. So this episode, as you can always tell, is Visionaries. So anyone who doesn't know, wasn't born in the 80s or hasn't seen this toy line, this is a toy line from a cartoon that was produced in 1987. It was done by Hasbro. It was done basically to promote these short figures, essentially using the same mold as what G.I. Joe was used early in the 80s, but with the gimmick of the hologram. It spanned a TV series of 13 episodes, a short-lived, unfortunately. This comprised of essentially 14 figures and 4 vehicles to complete the whole one. The girls, like most cartoon series of the 80s, never got the women released. There was plans for a second wave, and even that wasn't released. I weren't sure if the women. So essentially, this episode is to go over everything that I have. And something of this series, and just so if you've never seen it. So we shall start first. So first off, all of these are custom bases. So these have unicorns on for the good guys and dragons for the bad guys, and these I got off eBay. So this is the leader of the Spectral Knights. So the Spectral Knights are the good guys, and this is Leoric. Each character will come with essentially a helmet, a hologram. So his hologram is a lion, so he could become a blue lion. He would have a whip, which I forgot for this video, as well as someone else's helmet. And then 4 of the users had staffs for the good guys and the bad guys, which would cast giant powers. And the other 3 would then control the vehicles. I don't have the vehicles with me, so I will put pictures up afterwards. So yes, so Leoric. So this is Leoric and his Staff of Wisdom. So as you can see the hologram there, it's goes from a hawk or the unicorn to an owl. So the owl was basically, he would instow on him a knowledge for whatever the endeavor was. Basically, the whole story is Wizard Merlin or Merklin in this case basically did an event or a challenge. The people who won basically got given powers. The holograms they can use kind of as often as they want to, but the staffs they had to replenish in the kind of pool in Merklin's cave or cave of castle, sorry. So it basically encouraged them to do stuff for Merklin to recharge their staffs. So I say that is Leoric. Then we have the next Spectral Knight. So this is Arzon. So he has a hawk there as his totem, you see, and then he has basically it's knowledge. So wisdom is Leoric's, and then the kind of brainy guy, there you go, he would instow on him knowledge. So basically if he needed to know something or wanted to ask him a question, he would use the staff for that. Arzon has a kind of spiked axe. I do not own that, but isn't quite good overall, as you can see from his chest plate. They do deteriorate over time, obviously being almost 40 years old. The next one, and probably my favourite of the Spectral Knights, this is Cryotech. So here's the bear. Again, his hologram is a little bit faded in the face, but he is complete, obviously, with his totem. It's, if I can get it there, so it is an archer. So basically a giant archer comes out and shoots an arrow, and it can destroy stuff if it hits it. And obviously he has a 3-pronged whip, which is his weapon. So he is complete. The first mention on the video, obviously Leoric is complete. I just forgot his whip. Then we have the 4th or the last of the Spectral Knights. So this is Witherquick. So if you may or may not have got from his name, he is obviously very fast. His totem here is the cheetah, as you can see it. And then his lance, if I can get it, you see the face with the wings, basically makes him really, really fast, and he can basically go light speed off in a direction or in a area he chooses. Obviously has his helmet as well. He does come with a boomerang weapon, which I don't have, unfortunately. Recently I did miss out on picking him up because I'm an idiot. So then we will go into the other Spectral Knights. So this is one I picked up recently. You know, this guy came with the cycle, so the bike, which has a more or less complete. So I'll show a picture up there of my version. So yeah, he does have a helmet, but I seem to have misplaced that, putting him in the box. So that's obviously fallen out. Besides Leoric's whip, I've obviously left that on the shelf. He is a fox, as you can see the curled up fox there. So this is quite a good version of him in his helmet. And then he has, I can't remember what his weapon is. Or maybe he has the spiked mice and Arzon has like a sight. Apologies, I can't remember. But yeah, so he would drive like the light cycle, not the light cycle because that's Tron. He would kind of the cycle which someone could potentially ride on the back. And then the final guy. So there are only 6. There's only 6, so there's 12 figures, 6 from each. So this is Feral, so probably the harder one to get of the good guys. He is a wolf there, so not to be confused with the other guy's one. Obviously he is missing his helmet, it's quite hard. He has missing his weapon, and he drives the capture chariot, which is kind of the big vehicle for the good guys. You can fit almost all of them in there. They have orbs that come off with holograms. I will put a picture up of it there. So is that. So yeah, so that is the good guys. That is the Spectral Knights. So then we move on to the bad guys. So these are called the Darkling Lords. This is Darkstorm, the leader of the bad guys. He is his totem on his chest is the mollusk. If I remember, it's kind of a really big, scary snail type character. Obviously, he's complete with his kind of axe weapon. And then his totem here, which you can see a kind of a winged beast, is decay. So essentially he can make you old, or he can reverse it with young. He's the only one to have a reversing spell. So yep, so this kind of creature would come out, wrap its round, and it could make you old. And then it could do it again and can make you young again. So next off is the coward of the Darkling Lords. So this is Lexor. He is kind of a armored armadillo, being that it's an armadillo but just more spiked on his shell, and he is missing again his weapon. And then you have his staff, which obviously flicks between the 2 symbols, but that face is basically a human shield. So the guy would come out and create a massive shield behind whatever he wanted, and they were invulnerable. Normally him and Cryotech would be the ones that fight, because Cryotech would fire his arrow and Lex or would create the shield to protect it. So they kind of cancelled each other out. Next we have probably my favourite, and probably the kind of counterpart to a Cryotech, and I've forgotten the guy's name. So that's Sindar. That is the guy. He has a gorilla. That is his symbol. So he becomes a big. So the bad guys all become green symbols, gorillas, and the good guys can blue. He has his mace. I've had the blue tuck in his hand, and this is his correct staff, but it does not have the hologram. So if you see the hologram, you will see it is actually Darkstorm's one. This is quite rare to find. He has the staff of destruction, so a big creature comes out and destroys stuff. It was really badly misprinted a lot. So finding a legitimate one is going to be hard. It's still on my radar, but that's it. And then the final Darkling Lord with a staff is Kravex. So Kravex has a kind of pterodactyl type creature, which is inherent to their kingdom. He has his scythe weapon, and then he has his staff, which is, if you can see the spider, that is of fear. So essentially a spider would come out, bite you, and it would make you hallucinate and kind of take you through your worst dark nightmare. Then there were 2 other Darkling Lords. I am missing one figure. So first we have Mordred. He is kind of the sidekick / assistant to Darkstorm. He is the Beetle because he is a coward. As you can see there, he is missing his kind of scythe weapon. Obviously helmet does come off. He drives the Skyclaw. So that is the bad guy's flying weapon. So I'll put a picture of it up there. Obviously my one is complete. He unfortunately is quite discoloured. I do need to buy a more updated figure. If I can get one with a little bit of a better hologram as well, that would be great. And then essentially the guy that I am missing from the bad guys, which is the most hardest character to get all together, is called Recon. He is it's not a sloth, but it's kind of a lizard that he entails. He is kind of the mercenary person of the bad guys, and he drives the capture the Dagger Assault, which I'll put a picture up here. So mine is missing a kind of vehicle that flies off a few doors or something, and this vehicle could basically take people's totems. So the chambers with the lights, you would put people in there and they would lose their holograms, and you could transfer them and stuff like this. This has been my collection of the Visionaries. Are you a Visionary fan? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below. Have you got a Visionaries collection? Have you got Recon and all complete, or are you finding it hard to, like me, piece them together? Let me know. And otherwise, yeah, I've been Sigma Toys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I shall see you in the next one.